Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I am Liz. I am Senator McMorrow's Director of Constituent Services and District Outreach. I will be providing you with a brief legislative update this week before we head on to a legislative spring break. That doesn't mean our offices will be closed, but it just means that there will be no session these next 2 weeks. Diving right in, we wanted to discuss a legislative bill package that many of our constituents have reached out to us about and have shared some very real concerns and some deep concerns about these bills. This was a bill package introduced by Senate Republicans that would be aimed at voter suppression. This was a nationwide push that state legislators introduced in their own respective chambers across the United States. This was not directly anything that election officials or clerks here in the state have recommended. If you follow Senator McMorrow on Twitter, she really dove into this conversation that what our election officials and clerks have asked for is more time to count and process absentee ballots prior to election day. These bills do not include any of those recommendations, and specifically goes against what voters in 2018 voted for and with Proposal 3 that would expand access to the ballot and absentee ballots and within our state. And we want to share and echo those really real concerns that many constituents have reached out to us about this week. That bill was referred to the Committee on Elections, and we'll be really watching these bills and monitoring for any legislative movement on them. Outside of that, in the House, a legislative package passed that would limit patient costs for insulin and some chemotherapy treatments, while also expanding telehealth services here in Michigan. Within this legislative package is a $50 cap on insulin for Michiganders on state healthcare plans. This bill passed the House this week and has been referred to the Senate Committee on Health Policy and Human Services. On COVID relief supplemental, we wanted to provide a bit of an update on that this week. Governor Whitmer this week vetoed Senate Bill 1, a bill tie-barred to funding that would require the Director of Health and Human Services here in Michigan to seek legislative approval for emergency orders once it is in place for 28 days. If lawmakers do not approve an extension, the order then will be lifted. Governor Whitmer, in a letter to the legislature, stated that a crisis such as COVID-19 does not end after 28 days, as we've seen over the past year, and we should not limit our ability to respond to them now and in the future if we ever have to deal with a crisis such as this again. That being said, $300 million in federal relief was tie-barred to this bill, which means the money between the veto of this bill and vetoes of bills in the past couple of weeks leaves $1.2 billion to be negotiated between the governor and the legislature. As these discussions continue, we'll be providing updates where we can. And I do want to note that there are legislative pushes outside of these bills that are being vetoed to release this funding to our schools. Specifically, one bill introduced by Representative Regina Weiss out of Oak Park would release $841 million in COVID relief that has already been appropriated to our schools without any of these conditions or tie-barred bills. This bill has been referred to the House Appropriations Committee but has yet to have a hearing. Outside of that, this week, our office, Senator McMorrow, was part of a large legislative bicameral package that would address pay equity and work towards closing the gender pay gap. Our bill specifically would require a company with 5 or more employees to post a written job description for positions, including information about the skills required and the pay scale for the position. Outside of the legislature, we wanted to mention that as of Monday, the 22nd, this week, all Michiganders 50 and up, as well as Michiganders 16 and up with pre-existing conditions, are now eligible for a COVID-19 vaccine. We also wanted to remind you about Ford Field and how appointments and sign up is now available for that. They are open 7 days a week from 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. and will be there for 8 weeks, striving for 6,000 doses a day. Additionally, news came out, I think it was last week, about a partnership between Oakland County and United Wholesale Mortgage, striving for 5,000 doses a day at the Pontiac Soccer Complex. So that is really exciting news. And while eligibility and vaccination sites like these are becoming more available, we also wanted to note that right now, COVID cases are on the rise. Yesterday alone, there was more than 5,000 cases in one day. Because of rising numbers such as this, Beaumont Health has had to limit visitations for family and friends to visit their loved ones in the hospitals. So we really want to know that the pandemic is not over yet. And if you, we really, really encourage you to mask up, social distance, and if a vaccination becomes available to you, please get vaccinated. And we have posted locations that our constituents have had success at, and we do know that there is a lack of supply for the demand that is being asked of for these vaccinations. So we have included places in the past where our constituents have had success in getting appointments, and we will include that in the comments after I'm done today. And with that is my brief update. I just wanted to remind everyone for the next 2 weeks, we will not be having a legislative update. Session will not be taking. They're on a legislative spring break, but that does not mean our office is not working. Our office will be working full time the next 2 weeks and so on. So if you're ever in need of anything with our departments or have any concerns, please email our office. It is senmcmorrow@senate.michigan.gov. And we will be available to you. I also wanted to say happy Holly to those who are celebrating this weekend, and happy early Easter and Passover for those who celebrate over spring break. And with that, that's my brief legislative update. If you have any comments or concerns, please leave them in the comments and we will address them later. Or again, send us an email at senmcmorrow@senate.michigan.gov.